So is Facebook a stock worth buying right now, and is it worth adding to your portfolio? Should you sell it if you have it? Should you buy more? Lots of questions, all the answers in this video. So it's no secret, the tech stocks have gone crazy since this whole Miley Cyrus virus situation that we've all been going on. Partly, I think personally, it is down to these stimulus checks and all these new investors, especially like the millennial area and Gen Z. They're all buying these stocks that they know. The Apples, the Facebooks, the, dare I say, Tesla. And I think that is part of the problem. But before we get into Facebook particularly, please do me the kindest favor of subscribing, turning on the bell, and help me out, please, for the love of God. Just hit that like button. It helps me out greatly making these videos and helps promote me to the YouTube gods. So make sure that like button is clicked. Otherwise, I may actually do something reckless in the next couple of weeks. Don't worry, it's not that reckless. I won't be buying, Tesla. So I wanted to try something new on the channel as well, and I'm going to be doing a new series. Now, we're going to be still doing the 2 Stock Tuesdays because I got some very good feedback, so thank you for that. Whoever checked out the 2 Stock Tuesdays and, commented and said, "This is a great idea. Please keep up the good work." Don't know what accent that was. But I've decided that maybe I will review one stock every Saturday and Sunday randomly, or whatever people drop me in the comments. So if there's a stock you want me to look at, hit me up in the comments and I'll try and do it next Saturday or Sunday. And, I was thinking of what name can I call this, Stockwatch Daily, Daily Stock. All these names have already been taken. I have gone with the beautiful name of Daily Stock Ticker Inspection, or your Daily STI. Maybe I'll put that on a t-shirt. Do you think that would sell? Daily STI? Maybe not. So that said, welcome to your Daily STI, and this STI is going to be on Facebook. Is it worth buying? Is it worth selling? Should you add it to your portfolio, or should you just avoid it in case you get an infection? See what I did there? STI. If you don't know what it means, Google STI. So Facebook, owned by the android that is Mark Zuckerberg. But seriously though, have you seen the comparison between the android from Star Trek, I don't know his name, and Mark Zuckerberg? It is uncanny. Weirdly, the android in Star Trek is more human. But Facebook owns Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Facebook, along with various other companies, and it owns a hell of a lot of data. Now, being in finance myself for a long time, I remember going back about 10 years ago, and someone said to me that personal and market data on individuals is the new gold. And I do believe that is true, and Facebook is gathering data on individuals. For example, have you ever found it funny that if you go on, WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, and, for instance, we had a baby last year, oh, this baby pram is good, and then all of a sudden on Facebook, you've got 1 million baby prams being advertised to you as a, mid-30s male who's, getting ads for prams. It's not very cool. And that is because all of these companies are complementing each other and working in a circle. So Facebook has gathered all this data and it is utilizing it. Now, some people say this is a bit unethical, some people say this is good, but for me personally, I'd like to get ads that are relevant. So for example, I love my whiskey, I always get Flavia ads. I love my football, I always get football ads. So for me, I'd rather get these adverts than get something like baby prams. Again, unfortunately, that incident, I think we messed up when my wife used my iPad. But I think really we all want ads that are relevant to us rather than something completely bonkers, right? That makes sense. And because of this sort of fundamental, Facebook has accumulated a massive market cap of over 800 million US dollars, soon to join the $1 trillion club, which I think it will. And if you remember when Apple joined the $1 trillion club, it wasn't long later where it hit the 2 trillion. That was a bit nuts. But when will Facebook hit that $1 trillion mark? Well, I do think it will hit eventually, but will it hit today? Will it hit tomorrow? Will it hit in 10 years? Will it never hit? That's the big questions we're going to answer over at the computer in one moment. So in recent news, with better than expected quarter results in the second quarter of 2020, Facebook has had this massive boost. Along with new traders coming and pumping up these tech stocks, Facebook has been a strong runner. That is no doubt. There was also a UBS price boost from $242 up to $330. We all know a couple of years ago Facebook added their own marketplace, and there was always these buy and sell use groups on Facebook, which I bought a lot of stuff from, I'm not gonna lie, but the marketplace feature just trumps that. And now they are moving into e-commerce, which means that businesses and individuals can now sell stuff directly on Facebook, which is opening to a whole new tier of individuals, companies, and marketing, which at the end of the day earn these little dollar signs for said Facebook company. And that ties in with Facebook's business model, because think about it, if you're a coffee lover and a cafe just opened down the road, okay, they can generically pinpoint where you're at and say there's a new cafe over the road, so you can advertise and you can say, hey, look, buy this coffee and we'll deliver it to you on Facebook. And money, just money. It makes money for business, Facebook, everybody other than the person buying the coffee. So that's the news. That is the news roundup. Bit long-winded there, but let's get over to the magical Mac and then we can have a look a bit more into the depth. Is Facebook a good value buy right now? So Facebook is riding at all-time highs, and if we come down to the valuation, again, this is analyst expectations. Now, bearing in mind, most analysts are wrong as much as they're right. Some analysts expect this Facebook fair valuation is around 286, so we are 2.4% overvalued, which isn't the end of the world if you're looking at adding Facebook long term. Coming down to the PE ratio, Facebook has a mega high PE ratio of 35. Remember, on a PE ratio, you want it as close to 1 as you can get. The market average is 19.1, which sort of tells you on the price to earnings. And this, if you want to know more on price to earnings, let me know in the comments. But basically, it is every dollar you are paying per share in regards to every share of profit. So for every $1 of profit, people are paying a 35.6% dollar premium. Now that might sound a bit crazy to some people, but if you want a video on PE, let me know in the comments. But that is because the whole tech sector, in my opinion, is got quite a high PE ratio. Now their PEG ratio is at 1.9. Now this is quite good, to be honest. Not perfect, but not bad, and especially given the current market. Now that is down to Facebook's crazy growth. So again, if you want a PEG ratio valuation, let me know in the comments, but it's not that bad. So coming back to my little magical Excel, which some people seem to like, let's put it in. So Facebook on value, given the PEG is good, but the PE is bad, and the stock is at all-time highs, 15 being good value, I'm probably going to put this round about a 7. Mid-table, lower mid-table. If it came down to 260, that might be more like a 10 or a 12. Future growth expectations are crazy on Tesla, and you can see that even with the fair value, people are expecting this company to just continue growing at this crazy rate. And I do agree with it. I do see it happening, to be honest. But again, as a value investor, I can't buy at the top. I just refuse to buy at the top. Financial health, as we come down to it, it has mega assets compared to their liabilities. So as far as safety goes, I'm gonna have to put this, and I think it's the first time I've ever put this at a 15. If we're going on a long-term hold, I think that this is literally zero risk as if I'm gonna hold it for 2 years. That is undoubtedly crazy to say. Unless there's a big economic recession, I think Facebook is probably one of the safest stocks you can buy, to be honest. Now, the downside is Facebook doesn't offer a dividend, which I find crazy, and I think that they should. I know they don't really need to entice investors to it just yet, but if they paid a dividend, it would definitely help me out when I'm making an assumption on buying it. So the dividend rating is pretty damn, well, it's non-existent. That's what it is, it's non-existent. Management, we obviously have the big wig, the Android, Zuckerberg at the top there, and his salary is $23 million US, which fair play to him. That's all I'm gonna say, fair play to him. Insider buying, we had a small amount of shares sold a year ago, but we've had no one buying or selling. Now, this is my biggest sort of feature when I look at value investing. Are insiders buying this company? And the answer is no. No one's buying it at this price, which tends to make me think that all the insiders have already got their shares. They don't want to add to the portfolio here, and they hopefully will get in on a lower correction. Again, if we get that 270, 250 level, I think you probably will see some insider buying, to be honest. So recent insider buying, that is again a 1. Their PE ratio was pretty damn bad. I'm going to put that down as a 1, and their PEG ratio was pretty damn good. I'm going to put that down as a 4. In fact, I'm going to put their PEG as a 3 because I don't really believe that, which means it's a 2.4 stars. out of 5, which is mid-table, you know, it's not that bad. So 2.4 is not that bad, it's actually mid-table. It just means that if I did buy Facebook right now, I'd probably take it with a bit of caution because I want to average down into a dip on Facebook as a whole, and that is my, you know, thoughts on how to buy Facebook shares right now. If we go down and we can see the top 10 shareholders, we obviously have Mark Zuckerberg owning 11.5%, 329 million shares, total value of 96 billion. Then we have Vanguard, BlackRock, Capital Research. So we've got some really big names on Wall Street invested in Facebook long term, and none of them are selling. So that shows that the company is in a very, very strong position financially, and that comes down to the low risk. So final thoughts on Facebook. Now for me, being honest, I am a big fan of Facebook. I love their data and I love the way that the business is operating. I just can't find a way to get into the company because it is, in my opinion, too high priced. And I don't mean that in that fact that it's overextended. I don't mean the fact that it is not going to continue growing. I just think that I need it to come down quite significantly on some bad news or something like that I can get in on a fair value. So for me right now, Facebook isn't a buy. That said, I will look at Facebook continuously for a dip, for some negative news that I can get in on a dip, or maybe an economical recession, which may come anytime soon. And when that happens and stocks come tumbling down, Facebook for sure is one of the safety companies I will look at buying. Its health is phenomenally good. If it paid a dividend, that would probably change the whole game for me. If Facebook give me a dividend of 3 or 4%, I'd probably throw it in my portfolio tomorrow. So Zuckerberg, I know you're stalking me. I know you're watching. Put a dividend on your stock, and then LWT will be investing with mega leverage. That's a joke. I don't really advise using leverage. So what do you think of Facebook? Are you holding Facebook? Do you think it's a good long term? Do you think it's overvalued? Let me know in the comments. But more importantly, if you've got any ticker you want me to cover in a coming video, anything you want my thoughts on, let me know in the comments and I'll promise you I will be reviewing one of them in next week's videos. Please, please, please make sure you have appeased the YouTube gods by hitting that like button, subscribing, turning on the bell, and if you want to know more on finance or day trading, check out these 2 videos. Links for the chat room in the description. That's it from me. I'm going to go enjoy some football, or as you Americans call it, soccer, some whiskey, and I will see you, well, I'll see you tomorrow in the next Daily STI. Peace. That wasn't a peace sign. That's a peace sign.